In case you've been living under a rock, Bridgerton is the amazing new series on Netflix that brings the story of Julia Quinn's many novels to the big screen. The show premiered on Netflix in December of 2020 and has become one of their most popular shows, with more than 82 million viewers. The series was renewed for a second season, but in case you missed what happened in season 1, here's everything you missed. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. Bridgerton is based on several romance novels that were created and written by Julia Quinn. Yes, I know, most romance novels are sappy and boring, but that isn't the case with Bridgerton. The series revolves around the wealthy family known as the Bridgertons. It tells the story of a widow and her 8 children as they live in a long-forgotten era of British society. Julia Quinn's books were written in 8 parts, and it seems like season 1 mostly tells the story of the first book titled The Duke and I. Each book tells the story of one of the widow's 8 children, so it's a safe bet that Netflix will most likely follow the same trend in the next few seasons. One of the most interesting parts of the show is that it isn't a period piece like you may expect. Instead, the writers and showrunners explain that they wanted to create the show in an alternate reality where history is as they would have wanted it to be, rather than how it truly was. This means the show has a very diverse group of characters and there's virtually no prejudice regarding race, religion, or anything else. It's a very interesting concept and the writers pulled it off amazingly well. This show is very fast-paced, much like the books. If you blink, you may miss one of the most important scenes of the whole series. So even if you've seen the show before, sit back, relax, and let's stroll down Bridgerton Lane, shall we? Episode 1. The first episode introduces us to the Bridgertons. Led by Lady Violet Bridgerton, Lady Violet has 8 children and the family always feels as though they are competing with the Featheringtons. However, Penelope Featherington and Eloise Bridgerton become the best friends very early on. Daphne Bridgerton and 3 of the Featherington girls have just become of age and they begin to search for their future husbands. The Queen tells Daphne how flawless she is, making Daphne the center of attention. A short time later, Lord Berbrook rides into town on a horse. Anthony tries to force Daphne to marry one of the two, but she wants no part in it. She wants to make her own decisions without her brother's input. Later on, we find out that one of the Featherington girls, Marina, is pregnant. Episode 2. This episode tells us about how Simon tragically lost his mother as she was giving birth to him. His father was an incredibly angry man who wanted nothing to do with him. Simon and Daphne are working together to convince everyone in town that they are courting, but they begin to argue about how far this act should go. Trouble breaks loose at the next ball when Simon and Lord Berbrook get into a fight after Simon tells Daphne's brother that Berbrook tried to attack her. Later, Berbrook devises a plan to blackmail Daphne, claiming he'll tell Lady Whistledown that she came on to him while they were alone the other day. We all know that exactly the opposite happened, but Lady Whistledown will obviously believe Lord Berbrook's word over her own. Berbrook begins making arrangements to marry Daphne in 3 days. Episode 3. As time goes by, Daphne's relationship with Simon begins to transform. She's no longer going to balls with him because she has to, but rather because she wants to. The Queen later arrived with the Prince of Prussia, but Daphne bails on their get-together to hang out with Simon instead. Daphne soon learns that Simon doesn't want to get married since his childhood was so difficult and he never had a relationship with his mother. When they attend an art gallery later, Daphne and Simon begin to fall for each other as they are looking at a piece of art that used to be Simon's mother's favorite piece. Before long, Simon learns that Daphne has no idea how to make love to someone. He's shocked and doesn't understand how someone could be so old yet so naive. The next day, Simon announces that their courtship is over and he's leaving town so that he doesn't corrupt her any further. Daphne then turns to Prince Friedrich at the next ball. Episode 4. The Prince and Daphne are the next hot topic in town. They're seen everywhere together. They run into Simon at a boxing match and Daphne later tells her mother that her situation with Simon was nothing but a ruse. Her mother tells her if she loves Simon, go for him. Lady Danbury tells Simon the same thing. Later in the episode, Anthony tracks down Simon and attacks him, shouting that he needs to marry Daphne as doing anything else would be dishonorable. Anthony and Simon schedule a duel, but Daphne interrupts and demands that Simon marry her. He refuses, saying he could never give her children. Simon asks to resume the duel, but Daphne proclaims there will be no need to resume. The Duke and I are to be married. Episode 5. This episode begins with Daphne running home to hop back in bed and pretend that she never showed up to the duel between Anthony and Simon. It would be unheard of for a girl like Daphne to try to force a duke to marry her, so she does her best to hide it. Simon and Daphne later appear before the queen and try to convince her that they are both in love. As they quickly learn, they truly are in love with one another, even though the odds are clearly against them. In the end, the two agree to be married, but Daphne is freaking out about her wedding night. Daphne and her mother finally begin to have the talk, but Daphne is still confused about how the dirty business is supposed to happen if Simon claims he can't have kids. Her mother gives her an unhelpful response about how, and Simon and Daphne leave their wedding reception together later that evening. Episode 6. This episode explains why Daphne and Simon got married in the middle of a season, rather than at the end, because the writers needed time to document all of their passionate lovemaking scenes. Daphne quickly learns that she has a serious affinity for the lovemaking process, so she and Simon begin to hook up anywhere and everywhere they possibly can. Daphne quickly learns about how Simon prevents himself from having children. Considering she and her mother only had the talk a few days ago, she didn't know what it meant to pull. I'll spare you the graphic details, but in the end, Daphne learns more about how children are made, and she prevents Simon from doing this the next time they're going at it, essentially forcing him to have a child with her. Daphne is completely unaware that Simon made a vow with his father to never have children. Episode 7. Daphne and Simon had a serious argument about Daphne's decision to force him to have a child with her. He tells Daphne that if she's pregnant, he'll stick around, but he won't be happy about it. To calm her nerves and try to get help, Daphne gets drunk and finds herself in an underground gambling session with some of the most well-to-do people in town. This doesn't help her situation, considering she may be pregnant, of course. Episode 8. The final episode of the season tells us how Daphne found several letters that were written between the Duke and his father, with the Duke essentially begging for his dad's attention. She says that he should not let his father's abuse get in the way of them having children. After thinking about this for the entire night, Simon reveals to Daphne that he wants to be with her, but doesn't know how to be the man she deserves. The two hook up once again, but this time Simon doesn't restrain himself. So there you have it. Everything you missed from Bridgerton Season 1. There's so much we didn't cover, but hopefully this gets you geared up and ready for Season 2. I certainly know I am. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and ring the notification bell for more videos.